Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering of the university. The theme of this conference is Applied Information Processing. The papers and contributions what we have received, it is totally based on this theme. We have received totally 247 papers for review purpose from all over the globe, and out of which only 55 papers were selected in this conference for presentation and inclusion in the conference souvenir. The selection is totally based on novelty, the originality and technical content of the contributions which were submitted for the review. Each paper was reviewed minimum by 2 reviewers and by a double blind process, and along with a plagiarism check by Turnitin tool. And based on the criteria which were laid down strictly by the Springer and the university, we have selected all these contributions. Renowned academicians, technicians are going to deliver the keynote and plenary sessions in this conference. If you observe the program schedule, it can be ascertained that the conference days will be a feast of technical discussions and various platforms and cutting edge technologies. I request all the participants and contributors to take an active part in all the sessions and discussions so that it will be a fruitful affair for them to carry out their future research life. I'm much thankful to the Springer India for being the publication partner of this conference series throughout its inception. And they are very helpful in doing all these rigorous activities to be carried out with the merit. The TPC of the conference is also thankful to the contributors for selecting this platform to put forward their valuable research work. In the end, I wish to conclude with the inspiration lines from Rigveda. It says that Anobhadra Krutova Yantu Vishwataha. The meaning is, let the noble thought should come to us from every side of the globe. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request Dr. S.L. Narbarwa sir to introduce about the university and the aim of conference.
Good morning to everyone. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. V. Rama Shastri, who is an eminent professor and well-known researcher. He is a constant source of motivation for innovation in academics and multidisciplinary research. We have also with us Professor Pant from IIT Roorkee. She will be delivering keynote address. Professor Balas, AV University of Arad, Romania. Professor A.K. Verma, Western Norway University, Norway. All heads of the departments, my colleagues, faculty members, staff members, research scholars, dear participants, delegates, and Dr. Brijesh Iyer, convener of this conference. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all for 6th International Conference on Computing in Engineering and Technology 2021. Now I briefly introduce my university. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University was established by Government of Maharashtra in the year 1989. The Government of Maharashtra converted this university to Affiliating Technological University in the year 2014. Presently, university offers 33 UG programs, 62 PG programs, and PhD programs in various disciplines. The university is empowered to affiliate institutions that offer degree, postgraduate, PhD level programs in the disciplines of engineering, pharmacy, architecture, hotel management, and catering technology. At present, university student strength is 50,000, which is expected to rise to 3 lakhs within next 5 years. Currently, 206 institutes are affiliated to this university. University is running so many programs with recent guidelines which are given by AICTE or mandates of UGC. All they are taken into account, and recently university introduced to offer majors and minors in various UG programs, as well as mandatory internships of 6 months for all UG students. Also provided the facility of multiple entry and multiple exit options for all UG and PG programs. As far as department is concerned, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication is established in the year 1995, offering UG, PG, and PhD programs. Department is having Center of Excellence laboratories in the area of microwaves and signal processing. Faculty members of the department, they are highly dedicated, motivated, as well as they publish, as far as research is concerned, they publish their research work only in reputed journals. Department is having curriculum which is perfect blend of electronics, communication, and computing technologies. Department regularly gets handful amount of funding from AICT, UGC, state government for research projects as well as projects for development of laboratories. Now I will come to conference. Dear friends, I would like to mention that we have received huge response for this conference from research scholars, scientists, teachers from all over the world, including premier institutes like IITs, NITs. We have received about 250 plus papers, out of which 50 papers have been selected for oral presentation. As told by one of the convener, the review process was very strict. The review process was a double-blind system. Evaluation was done by at least 3 reviewers for each paper from all over the globe. About 125 reviewers have rendered their services for this purpose, and papers were accepted based on originality, relevance, and quality. The proceeding publications of the conference is Scopus Index and listed as well in UGC CARE approved list of journal list. So proceeding is very important, which is published by Scopus Index, this one proceeding. If you take a look at the conference, you will agree that this conference is going to be busy and productive. There is a lot to offer for 2-day event. We have also planned plenary talks by distinguished academicians, professional, industrialists, and management thinkers to provide you wide variety of thoughts connecting academics to different domains on the same platform. I am sure that this event will provide a vibrant platform for discussing the current scenario and evolving strategies for advancement of knowledge and development of technology. I hope that all participants will have rewarding and memorable experience of this conference, and it will generate many new innovative trends in the field of science and technology. I am confident that this conference will leave long-lasting mark and food for thought for many young researchers and students. I am convinced that you all will go back with enriching yourself with more knowledge and experience. I thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It is always a pleasure to hear your words of wisdom. Now, I would like to request Professor V. Rama Shastri, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, Lonere, to deliver the inaugural speech.
Am I audible, Professor Nalbalwar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much. You are clearly visible, sir, and audible also.
Good morning to one and all. My senior colleague, Professor Nalbalwar, young and dynamic chairman of the conference, Dr. Brijesh Iyer, esteemed presenters and keynote speakers of this conference coming from premier institutions of the country and abroad, which is very pleasant for me to know from Dr. Iyer and Dr. Nalbalwar that you have drawn some of the professors from abroad as well to this conference who will be participating directly. All the colleagues of our Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, researchers, research scholars, and other young friends. A warm welcome to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University and to this conference on behalf of university and my own behalf, I extend to every one of you. When Professor Nalbalwar was telling something about the university as well as the note given by the chair of this conference, Dr. Brijesh Iyer, you must have observed that how our DBATU, our Technological University of Government of Maharashtra, is moving ahead with new initiatives in curriculum or academic programs of the university with the aim of making our university a quite vibrant university as far as technical education and research is concerned in the country. Friends, uh, the title of the conference is quite impressive. I appreciate the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering of our university, headed by Professor Nalbalwar, to have chosen, and the chair also, Dr. Vijay Shagar, for having chosen such a very important and vital topic, which is pivotal to the research activities uh, wherever, whether it is India or abroad, anywhere it is quite relevant. Computing and engineering and technology, especially for research, it's really quite relevant to our nation. Here I would like to give a small note about my experience and my observation about the quality of research. Indians, whether it is, I don't know, definitely there will be certain percentage of the students, whether it is IITs or NITs or maybe universities as well, I believe, hardly 5 to 10% maximum of the PhD thesis that are being produced in our nation are really good, whereas the quality of research, if you talk about, I feel as the Vice Chancellor, with all authenticity, I don't have any hesitation to put forward the fact that whatever research we have been doing, I think thousands of PhDs have been produced through various universities or institutions of importance at state level or national level in our university, in the country. But if you see the application of these PhDs to the development of the society or the nation, I think you are the best judges. I leave it to you. I don't want to make direct comment on that. Why it is so? The basic point I would like to mention here, we Indians, we do lot of voluminous work in the thesis. None of our PhD thesis, no PhD thesis produced from India, except a few cases, stray cases here and there, will be of 50 to 60 pages. It will be of minimum 250 to 300 pages, any PhD thesis you take. And we do voluminous work. We touch upon A, we touch upon B, we touch upon up to Z, dash, 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 Z. We try to touch upon huge spectrum and then give certain conclusions which may not be relevant to the society or to the topic we are doing. We have been working for last 3 to 5 years of time during the PhD process. This really has let down the nation as far as research is concerned, contributed by the universities in India. I don't know how many patents have come out from state universities, especially to further the cause of the industry or any other sector of the nation. I leave it to you to judge upon. The basic problem is, as I said, we believe in doing voluminous work, generic work. And in the analysis, I think we have lots of weaknesses. Our biggest drawback is analysis part. If you see any foreign thesis, some of the PhD thesis submitted abroad, maybe US or Australia or Canada or even Germany, I've gone through, I know personally in my field very thoroughly. The PhD thesis entirely consists of just hardly 50 pages, but still it is awarded PhD because the calculations, the computing part, they take up small and go into depth. If you want to go into depth, it requires a lot of computation. It requires a lot of modeling work. It requires a lot of application of the mind, not the physical work. Whereas what we do is we do huge quantity of work with small portion of analysis, and the application of softwares in our PhD thesis is at a very, very low ebb. Let us accept, let us not be hypocritical about saying that we are doing excellent research. It's not going to lead us to anywhere as far as our nation is concerned. We need to realize where we stand. I think whatever past is past, doesn't matter. Gatan kataha, gatan nasti. We are not going to bring back whatever has happened earlier. But at least now the nation is having a big vision. We have a big target to make our economy $5 trillion economy by our Honorable Prime Minister by 2025. And after COVID, we have just started opening up. We are going through Industrial Revolution 4. I think academics also, it is education 4 system is going to be there in place. Are we really capable of handling all these things? To me, it looks as on today in university system, no. Let us admit that. Then who will have to lead from the forefront and solve all these issues? It is the new generation. It is the students assisted by, or rather guided by, these faculty members properly. I think we all need to switch over from the mode of contributing voluminous work to our PhD thesis and doing little competition. We should get rid of that. Instead of that, try to take a particular topic and work in depth and come out with something which is new, or at least which looks new, instead of reaffirming the same that has been established by some IITs or some foreign universities. Because we have in general, the stigma among the professors, stigma among the students, I don't blame much, but the stigma among the supervisors and professors, faculty members is what we are giving, is it wrong or right? Therefore, people have a trend to catch up with similar work from abroad and try to see, yeah, whatever conclusion I have made or my student has made complies with the general trend given by so-and-so thesis submitted in University of Stanford or University of Missouri or Columbia University, Canada, or Queensland in Australia, something like that. I think we should get rid of that and have confidence that, yeah, what we have done is right. Maybe it is contradicting the total trend that has been established by previous research. It doesn't matter. That confidence you will get only and when you break the framework and come out of the framework with the application of softwares, simulation models, and then high computing techniques incorporated into your PhD thesis. Maximum, at least I know in circuit branches like electronics, computers, and other things, it happens. But in traditional branches, lot of computation is done using Excel. No modeling is done. So I think we need to change the trend, and I appeal on this occasion to all the youngsters who are taking part in this to please give all your attention very seriously to all the presentations. And it is quite appreciative to learn from both the organizers, Professor Nalbalwar and Professor Bijesh Iyer, that plus 250 papers they have received from different parts of the country and abroad as well. And then all these papers have been put to thorough examination, that is vetting has been done properly. And then out of 250 plus, they choose around 53 papers, means, and Springer is involved in the publication of this, means the quality of papers is quite high. The quality of presentations, therefore, is going to be quite good. And professors from IITs and professors from foreign universities are going to make presentations, means the conference is really going to be beneficial to all the participants. So I appeal to all my youngsters to pay all the attention to the presentations given by experienced people, try to learn something, and then try to have the habit of getting away from the normal path and doing something more beyond what is expected from your friend. Please don't try to quote. Please stop saying that, yeah, my senior got PhD with this thing only. Why not I? Yeah, maybe the situation was different at that point of time. And try to establish a new trend that, yeah, a good thing is going to happen from yourself, from your thesis itself, from your guide himself or herself. And then try to inculcate these new trends. And if you see, I happen to, because I keep attending international conferences very frequently. I've been abroad many times, and in India as well, of course. I'm a very prolific researcher, I know. And you may see all my papers. When I'm saying this, I say with all authenticity, no PhD thesis produced by me is of contemporary importance. Yesterday's question doesn't arise. It will be useful for future, down the line 10 years or so. Anybody can verify also. With all authenticity, I'm saying, when I attended one of the conferences on rock mechanics in Singapore International Conference organized by the highest body we have internationally for rock mechanics, that is International Society for Rock Mechanics, that is the highest body and very standard. I found there were hardly, I think, 10 or 12 papers out of plus 200 presentations in that conference. Whereas from China, there were more than 100 plus. It was an international conference, and China contribution was almost 60%. And you see the content of the PhD thesis. It is a very small point only. Nothing is generic. Everything is very, very specific, and they go into depth. That's why Chinese have gone so forward compared to most of our nations. Technologically, I'm talking about. They have lots of other issues. I don't want to debate on those things. This is not the time and not the forum as well. But as far as technology is concerned, they believe, or foreign university, any foreign university, they take up a small aspect and then dig out everything, go into depth using models and high computing techniques. So please try to do good amount of literature survey before you take up the topic, and try to make use of all the new techniques and make your thesis good one. At least at the end of the day, getting degrees, that is something different. You as an individual, if you look back, must get satisfaction, and your guide must get satisfaction that you have done a good work, and your guide should feel that he or she guided a very good work which is going to be useful to the society. Please keep these points in mind, and I'm very sure the conference is going to give you a lot of stuff related to whatever I have spoken, and I'm sure you will enjoy this conference. And then I request the organizers to have I think they must have already made the module about feedback system also, and so that we can improve upon from conference to conference in the days to come. With these few remarks, I wish each one of you all the very best in the new year 2021, and I'm sure the 2021 is going to give every one of us a healthy, peaceful, and joyful life. And my compliments to Professor Nalbalwar, Professor Brijesh Iyer, and the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering of our university for organizing this very important international conference, and all the very best to each one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, on behalf of all your students and colleagues, I really thank you for sharing your and acknowledging us with your thoughts. So moving forward, the most awaited event of the conference is the releasing of the souvenir. I request Professor V. Ramashastri sir and the other keynote speakers, honorable keynote speakers, to unwrap the souvenirs for 6th International Conference on Computing in Engineering and Technology.
Please unwrap it, Professor Nalbalwar.
So this is the galaxy of keynote speakers and plenary talks.
Very good.
Sir, kindly declare the conference is open.
Yeah, with this remarks, I declare the International Conference on Computing in Engineering Technology open.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you everyone. As a pessimist complains about wind, the optimist tries to change it and the leader adjusts the sails. These sails for the particular events were adjusted by not just one single person, but a team effort. This conference would have never taken place and conducted so successfully without hardworking team effort. It was the dedication and enthusiasm of our conveners and guides who not only did great motivation to all of us, but also planned a visionary and are the ones who gave us the beliefs and brought us together in this conference. Now I would like Dr. A.P. Shesh sir to give the vote of thanks and conclude this event. Thank you.
Very warm good morning to all of you. Now we are moving towards the end of the inaugural session. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. We are in the 6th International Conference on Computing in Engineering and Technology 2021. First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Dr. V. Rama Sastry, for his valuable words, his guidance. We always look towards him as one of the inspirations here. And I hope all the researchers, educators, and industrialists who are present here would get some energy from him. We are also thankful to all the session chairs, reviewers who have been working for a long time. I'm closely monitoring their efforts. All the presenters and those who have contributed to this conference in different areas. I'm also thankful to the Dean Engineering and Technology for his guidance for organizing this conference. Apart from that, I'm also thankful to the Registrar of the University, Finance Officer, and all the teaching and supporting staff from the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, and also the research scholars from the department. They have also taken a lot of efforts for the success of this conference or for organizing this conference. I must be thankful to Springer India for the publication assistance. They have been associated with us for a long time. On behalf of the conference organizers and the university, I'm thankful to Springer India. And finally, I must be thankful to Dr. Brijesh Iyer and Dr. Nalbalwar on behalf of the participants of this conference, because they have been providing a very good platform for all the industrialists, educators, and researchers. As for last 6 years, I have been closely associated with this conference. So on behalf of the presenters and the participants of this conference, I express my sincere thanks to the organizers of this conference, and I declare the end of this inaugural session here, and shortly we will move to the first keynote session. I request all of you to stay with us. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a 5 minutes mini break and we'll start the keynote speeches afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, one and all. Good morning, Millie Madam. Am I audible?
Hello, Dr. Brijesh, you are audible.
Yeah. Madam, we will start in 1 or 2 minutes.
Sure, no problem, no problem.
आप PPT upload कर दीजिए, madam.
Okay, fine.
चेतन मॅडम ला होस्ट करून टाका ना PPT अपलोड करण्यासाठी.
So you will be giving me the rights?
Yeah, madam. Host right will be given to you immediately.
दे दिया है मैडम आपको.
दे दिया ना, मैं करती हूँ.
हाँ जी.
So I'll put it on the full screen mode as soon as it starts. Okay? Yeah, I'll just put it on. Doesn't matter here.
मैडम ये मेन बिल्डिंग देखकर मेरे रिसर्च का समय याद आ गया.
Nostalgia.
जी.
So all the participants, they are attending online virtual mode पे ये पूरी conference?
हाँ जी मैडम जी. और
अच्छा
बाकी सारे एफिलिएटेड इंस्टीट्यूट्स और बाकी सब लोगों के लिए यूट्यूब लाइव है मैडम।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा
मतलब अभी सारे महाराष्ट्र में तो जितने भी एफिलिएटेड कॉलेजेस है
हम्म
सारे यूट्यूब लाइव है मैडम ये।
हम्म
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम, संतोष हियर।
हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग।
कैसे हैं मैम?
कैसे हैं आप? मैं ठीक हूँ,
फाइन,
आप कैसे हैं?
फाइन है मैम।
ओके गुड।
Mrudul,
गुड मॉर्निंग।
shall we begin, Mrudul?
Yes, sir. We
Acha,
shall.
please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Professor Dr. Brijesh Iyer, sir, to introduce our first keynote speaker of the day, Professor Milipan from IIT Roorkee, India, to our esteemed audience.
Thank you, Mrudul. This is my proud privilege to introduce one of the most student favorite professor in IIT Roorkee. I had seen Millie Madam for 4 or 5 years during my stay in at IIT Roorkee. She is very kind and supportive to the students, whether the students is registered with her or not. Madam is presently working as a professor in the Department of Applied Science and Engineering at IIT Roorkee. She has 100 plus research publications in the various journals and conferences of international repute. She has guided 10 plus PhD theses and several UG PG dissertations. She is currently handling the sponsored and consultancy projects of worth rupees 2.25 crores more. This is a very, very inspiring aspect of Millie Madam's profile. Also, I wish to quote here, Madam is a driving force for the reputed international conference series SOCPROS. I hope who are doing active research, they will be knowing about this conference. And in fact, let me admit very frankly, even I got motivation by observing this conference series and close working of Madam. And I decided in the department, we decided that we should also go for a series like this SOCPROS. Apart from educational activities, she is also very much engaged in research and outreach activities. She is associate editor of International Journal of Swarm Intelligence from InterScience. She is guest editor of International Journal of Maritime Computing by Springer. And plus she is a reviewer of many international repute journal like IEEE Transaction on Evolutionary Computation, Applied Soft Computing, Applied Mathematics and Computation, Neural Network Works, Information Science, and many more. Her areas of interest are numerical optimization, operational research, soft computing in some intelligence techniques with application to various engineering design problems, image processing, supply chain management, etc. We are very happy that today Madam is with us to deliver her keynote on very, very important aspect of research life, that is doing research, challenges, do's and don'ts. I feel this is very, very important that we must know that what not to be done during the research. So I welcome Dr. Pant Madam and request her to take over the session. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Dr. Brijesh. Those were very kind words. Thank you so much for it. I don't know whether I deserve it or not, but I definitely cherished your introduction.
No, madam, I have seen personally, madam, you there.
Thank you so much. Very nice of you. I think that's the work of every teacher, how they can inspire the student in their capacity, how they can help the students.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay, so without any delay, we'll start with the present topic, that is doing research, challenges, do's and don'ts. I selected this topic because I thought that we'll be having heterogeneous sort of audience, and I was not aware of what will be the ratio of which discipline. So I thought I'll make it more generic in nature. And so I thought this might be of interest to all of you. It might be of interest to all the participants. So we'll start with it. Okay. Now moving further, there are a few points that you need before you venture into doing research or doing PhD. I mean, it all sounds very fancy. It all sounds very lucrative and all that. But what are the things behind it? And what are the things that you have to follow when you are into research? That is, when you are into doing PhD. So first of all, it should be a motivation. Secondly, it should be the selection of a research problem. Of course, both are interrelated. Maybe because you are having a research problem and that's why you got motivated, or maybe because you got motivated, you had to decide a Good research problem. Third will be, you'll be getting started. How, when, where, what should you do, and things like that. Then comes the writing part, and finally, the presenting part. These are the few upward steps how you need to move, or how you usually move without even knowing it that you are moving in this direction when you are doing PhD or when you are into any sort of research, most particularly in PhD, because PhD needs everything. You need to have a motivation, you need to have a research problem, you need to know where you have to, when you have to get started and how you have to get started. You have to write your work very properly, you have to explain everything very properly in words, not just by results, but by analyzing the results and how you are showcasing the results. And finally, how you are presenting your work to your audience, how you are showing what you have done, how impressive you are, how well you are able to explain your work to your audience or to your peer group is the final destination. So motivation is how you got motivated. I mean, what made you work or what made you do the PhD. So we can say that there can be an internal drive or there can be an external drive. Internal drive, something like Amir Khan in Three Idiots, where he was motivated to do the research. He was not interested whether the world will acknowledge him or not, or what he is going to get, but he was self-motivated. Secondly, it is external drive when there is a need to do PhD. That is, your department wants it, your institute wants it, you yourself want to have an extra additional degree to your career profile, or maybe it is the wish of your parents or your teachers, or maybe it is the peer pressure that everyone around you is doing PhD. But even if there is an external drive, what you need is an internal drive also. That is, internally also, you need to be motivated in order to get into research. I mean, some sort of interest. Again, both are interrelated with each other. Once there is an external pressure, you can't do research unless you are self-motivated. That is, unless you think something on your own also. So then we come to the next thing, that is research problem selection. What are you going to do? Of course, you have a discipline in which you might have post-graduated or graduated. You must be having, or you might be having a favorite subject. Okay, this is the topic in which I can work. Because the reason can be anything. You used to get good grades in that subject. You used to be very good in that subject in the sense that you were interested in that subject. Maybe you didn't get very good grades, but you had an interest. What is happening next? Things like that. So when you are selecting a research problem, half of your work is generally done. So the good research largely depends on the selected problem. And as I told you, most of your work is already done when you come across a good problem. And how do you define a good problem? A good problem cannot be something very easy. I mean, you cannot depend on inventing a bulb once again. But of course, if you think of a new element in creating a bulb, then it will be called a research. It should not be too difficult. You cannot you cannot plan to do a research that you will be developing a colony in Mars. That will be too far-fetched for a limited time period. Then how will you select a problem? Selecting a problem can be, you can talk to your peer groups, you can have a talk with your seniors and then listen to them, what is the work they did. It will be an old problem, but in their future direction, you may come across something that is new for you and you can pose it as a new problem. Then secondly, what is the significance of that problem? That is that problem socially relevant? Is that problem technically relevant? Is that problem academically very challenging? That is, it has some very strong mathematical proofs, or it has some theorems and lemmas that are required that are not yet proved, but you can prove it. For example, in stochastic algorithms, there is still no theory to prove that how these algorithms work, like differential evolution or particle swarm optimization. There is very limited proof that these algorithms actually work. What are you going to contribute? So it is always good to have one big contribution rather than having several smaller ones. Like a few minutes back, Professor Rama Shastri was also saying that rather than having a voluminous work, you focus on doing a good work, which is relevant, which someone is interested to know. So what is the contribution type? It can be a knowledge discovery. You have discovered a new material. You have discovered a new material with which you can make good wires. You have discovered a new material that can help in medical services and so on. It can be an invention, completely new. It can be an integration of things, that is, you are combining theory and practice together. It is not purely theoretical, it is not purely practical, but it is a combination of both. It is completely application oriented. Something that is totally relevant for the society. That is called the society readiness level. Your product or your work is something that can be readily used by the society. Then you need to identify, describe, and demonstrate the idea that you are having. That is asking the right problem and then asking the problem in the right manner. That is, first, you need to conceptualize, and how you are putting your concepts into words are the two things combined into one. First of all, you need to think the right thing, then you need to present it rightly. In any case, it will be an innovation. There can be different ways of asking the problem right that can lead to asking the right problem. So can we predict reliability? Can we predict reliability with models? Can I predict reliability with user experience? That is, we are expanding our horizon of thoughts. We keep on expanding what we can do with the problem that we are having. We started with one small thing about predicting reliability, then whether we can also have models for that. And finally, what can be the user experience? That is, how will the end user will be benefited by it. So what do we have? Should we focus just on the new problems, or should we focus on new areas completely, or should we find new solutions to old problems? Okay, I'll just take a break for 2 minutes. There is Hello, I'm so sorry for this interruption. There was an important phone call. So anyway, we'll start again. So how to find the right research problems? One thing can be, you can totally think of a new area which no one has thought before, or you can think of a new problem in an existing area, or a new solution to the old problem. Like I was telling you that if your peer group has solved a particular problem, you can have a look at it and then decide what are the other things that can be added to it or how you can contribute to it. So new solutions to a reduced problem, new solutions from the same area, or new solutions from some other areas. These are a few ways by which you can modify the problem. You can either extend it, you can extend it for different problems. For example, in mathematics, if you have developed an algorithm for solving continuous problems, you can modify it, or you can extend it for solving the discrete problems. And you can also vary it for solving the combinatorial optimization problems, or you can refine it by adding some other algorithm into it, like a combination of a classical method and a non-classical method or a modern technology. Then you can prepare a general algorithm. This generalization is one of the most difficult things in research, because whenever we do a particular thing, we focus on the problem, that is our method becomes problem specific. But if you develop something that is general in nature, that can be used by everyone, that is more relevant. But usually it is very difficult, because we define a problem, we pose a problem for a particular system. So our method becomes problem specific. It is not a bad thing, it is not something wrong, but it is user specific. And that's why generalization is always very difficult. Some examples of doing research are exploration and cross-disciplinary research. Like one of the trending topics these days is on blockchain. But if you are thinking of a cross-disciplinary research, you can try to think what are the areas, that is, what are the new areas where blockchain can be applied. For example, initially blockchain was developed for solving the problems of finance. It is mostly related to finance. But nowadays, blockchain is also being used in agriculture. It is also being used in disaster management. And can you think of something by which blockchain can also be used in education? Or what are the drawbacks of blockchain? Or what are the limitations of applying blockchain to a country like India? I mean, we have to be abreast both globally as well as locally. I mean, whatever your research is, at some point of time, it should be relevant to the country where you are working. If you are working in India and if you want to do something for India, then at some point of time, you should be able to know, you should be knowing how your research can be of some use for India. For example, very recently, I was attending a research presentation in which the entire study was done for China. So my only question was, if you are doing all the study for China, how can it be relevant for India? Because it is very rare that someone from China will call you to work there. That is next to impossible, because many researchers are already working there. So why don't you modify the conditions? Okay, the problem was good. I agree, it was a good problem, but it was completely region based. It was based on China, and the only new thing the researcher did, or the PhD candidate did, was to apply a new algorithm to it. But if the researcher changed the scenario also as per the Indian circumstances, it can be a very good work. Your problem, now how will you know that your problem or your research question is good or not? So first thing is whether people are asking question about it. Usually, it has been seen that once a person is interested in something, he will engage in your work. He will definitely ask you questions about it. That is to say, you are able to motivate others. Your juniors are interested in your work. Your colleagues are interested in your work. They are asking you about it. And there is a possibility that you have done such a good work that no one can repeat it. But there is also a possibility that your problem was not very easy. I won't say that there is a bad research problem, maybe something that is not very motivating or that is not of much use, but if no one is following your research, if no one is citing any of your work, then you can say that your research was not able to generate enough interest. Instead of saying a bad research problem, let's say that your research was not able to generate much interest. So how will you start doing the research? That is getting started. So the tools that you use can be the papers that have been cited frequently, what tutorials you are referring, see the reference list, or you can move forward, that is, use Google Scholar to find papers that cite the current work. Then there is also proactive versus passive reading. That is the way you are reading it. Either you are simply going line by line without giving any thought to it, or you can read it with a critical attitude, that is, giving some thought to it. Or what is your agenda? That is, what was your research question, whether what you are reading is satisfying it or not, and things like that. And also reading between the lines. Reading between the lines is perhaps most important because you are reading and simultaneously analyzing it and trying to correlate it where you have seen it earlier. That is, you have trained your brain in you have tuned your brain in such a manner that you are able to find a link between the two research papers. Then also you can form a research group. This thing is possible only when you are working in a big lab. When you are working in a lab, you will be able to find 2 or 3 like-minded people with whom you can work together. A lot of your research depends on the type of research paper that you are reading. And nowadays, there are many publishers, there are many publishing houses that publish just anything. So don't go for that. Try to read only the papers that are from good publication houses like Elsevier or Springer or IEEE or Wiley or Taylor and Francis. I mean, these are reputed publication houses in which the review process is good and the chances are that you'll be reading something good in it. So the point is, you should not ruin your quality of work just by reading a paper because that was too easy, because that was written too nicely or because it was easily available. Don't go by availability of the paper. That is, anything that is available on the net is not readable, is not good enough. And your base paper should be something very good. You should read selectively, that is, only the papers that have been cited properly, that have been cited sufficiently in the beginning of your research. Later on, you can go for different papers also because by that time you would have developed your sense of reading once you have started reading the papers. Then third is how you are reading the papers. Whether you are just having a look at the introduction part, whether you are interested only in the results and ideas, or whether you are interested in reading the entire paper. This is something very difficult, that is reading the entire paper, understanding everything from it. And this you should do only for the papers that have been very well cited, that are either recommended by your peer groups or your professors, or that have genuinely aroused your interest. And by the end of some time, you will be able to distinguish between a good paper or a poorly written paper. Research monitoring is something that is very important. You should be knowing the leading research groups of your field. If you are really into research, then you should be knowing who are the other people who are working in your field, who are working in your research group. This is another question that I have asked several PhD scholars, that who are the other persons who are working in your area, and they are clueless. Many times they are clueless. So it gives a very bad impression that you are not aware what else is going on in your field. What is going on in your area of research? You are not aware of it. Writing part. Okay, so now you have completed the reading, you have formulated, you have identified your research problem, and now you are in a position to write something. So first of all, whatever is your area of research, you should be a very good salesman. That is, you should be able to sell your work to the publication house. And that can be done only with the help of good writing. That is, how good you are able to express yourself. Whether you are able to explain your idea clearly to the person concerned, because this again is the case that a PhD scholar has done a very good research. His idea is very good. He has obtained very good results, but at the end, he was not able to write his problem properly. He was not able to explain and analyze the results that he has obtained. So, what can we do for this? Again, I will advise you to read good research papers. Some highly cited papers or some very good research papers are the ones in which they have explained and analyzed the results very nicely, very properly. And don't think that you'll be able to write a research paper in a single step. Don't think that you'll be able to prepare it overnight. It is a continuous process, particularly for the first paper that you are writing. It may take weeks, it may also take months, but you should keep on writing it. You should keep on discussing it with your professor, or if you have a friend who is able to cooperate with you, you should discuss with it. You should be having an outline of the paper. First thing is, you can give it a quick writing, then you keep on refining it. Refine it again and again. And finally, you will be able to get a paper that is easily understandable. One of the best things for doing it, you give it to a layman and ask whether he or she is understanding your paper or not. If that person is not able to make head or tail out of it, your paper was not well written. You were not able to explain your things properly. It is an endless cycle. You will keep on making corrections. You will keep on going in loops, but at the end, you will get good results. The title of your paper should be very good. It should be able, the reviewer at the first reading itself should identify what is written in the paper. What is the paper about? Then the abstract part should be very clear and precise and concise. Don't write everything in the abstract. Just be very clear. What is your aim? What are you going to show in the paper? Repetitive sentences are something that I have observed very often. Try not to repeat the sentences, and this can be avoided only if you are reading your paper again and again. Don't make strong statements. Strong statements means that you cannot claim the work of some other author to be very bad, or you can say the results were completely wrong in that particular paper, or that particular idea was not good. And simultaneously, you should not write that my results are very good, my results are the best. Don't write anything like that. Be at a moderate position. If you are dealing with some trending topics like supervised learning, parametric versus non-parametric conflict, statistical working versus the analytical concept, something like this, because the research community is usually divided into two, what is good and what is bad. So don't give very strong statements in that. The reviewers are not going to like it. Be moderate in your sentence formulation. However, if you are very confident of your results and you know that what you have done is completely right, then you should go ahead and write it. It depends on your confidence. You should remember that the paper, your research will be identified by the work that you have done, by the papers that you have published, and the papers, if you are if you are sending your paper to a good journal, remember that the reviewing is going to be very critical, and it is good to get a critical review. You might have observed sometimes the reviewers don't write anything. They just reject your paper. And then you become totally confused. What did I do wrong? Why my paper is rejected? So it's always good to get some good review for your work if you really want to improve the work that you have done. The reviewers, they are not sitting there just to accept your paper. They will be very critical. Some good journals provide you very good reviews. The reviewers do their work very seriously, and sometimes they even point the smallest mistakes that are there in your paper. So try to select good journals in which the reviewing process is also good. The other thing is, you should not be disheartened if your paper is not accepted for the first time. It happens, and you should continuously write it. There is a possibility that the reviewers who received your paper had a completely different mindset about the problem that you are solving. So they may not give you favorable comments, but there is a possibility that if you select a different journal, if you modify your paper, your same work will be accepted once again. Plagiarism is something that you should completely avoid. Plagiarism, the rules have now become very strict, and note that all the software that we have, most of the software that we have, like Turnitin or Authenticate, etc., they will just give you the similarity. They will not tell you the plagiarism. They will just tell you how much your text is similar to some other text. But if you are completely copying an idea, it will not be identified by the software. So that is something you have to see. You have to be honest with your work. You are not copying anyone else's idea. You are not stealing someone else's idea that has already been published. Research presentation. Now, final is the research presentation, how you are finally presenting your work to your audience. For example, in a conference, or if you are going to a meeting, or if there is a simple research presentation of your own department, people should come and listen to you. So it's always good to know your audience in advance, what type of audience you are going to get, so that you can modify your presentation a bit. Modify your presentation a bit in the sense that you are able to tell at least the examples, at least the real life examples of different fields, so that you can tell your audience how relevant or how important your work is, how much application of your work is there. There will be a mixed set of audience if you are going to a very good international conference, or even to a national conference which is very reputed, and it will be having a mixed set of audience. This thing usually happens when you are going to a conference of your own area. In multidisciplinary conferences, the scenario will be slightly different because there will be people of different areas. So scientists will be there. There may be scientists who are not experts in your field. There may be students also, there may be non-experts, and you don't know who else is going to be there. So your presentation should be something that interests everyone. Just don't read everything that you have written in your slides. It gives a very bad impression that whatever is written, you are simply reading without having any eye contact with your audience. This is something not good and is not appreciated in any community, and similarly in research community also. Such a way of presentation is not appreciated. And it is very difficult to maintain the span of attention of your audience for a continuous 10 to 15 minutes, the time which is allotted to you for your conference. So how you can generate interest? The best way of generating interest is to give examples, is to motivate your audience. Because anyway, you will not be able to explain the entire technical know-how of your subject in just 15 minutes. So what you should do, either you should make your presentation very interesting, you should be able to include some examples into it. Look, this is what happens in the real life scenario, and add a lot of visuals, and not lot, but in a good amount of visual and graphics into it, so that your audience is able to correlate with it, or is at least able to maintain interest. When you finish your presentation, the audience, your audience to whom you are speaking, will be having different thoughts, like this was an important problem, or the speaker expressed his thoughts very nicely, the speaker was aware of the literature, the speaker has already done his or her homework, and things like that. And conferences are a place of collaboration also. You may get people of like interest who are willing to collaborate with you. As I told you, examples are something that are very important in whatever field you are working, whether it is theoretical or it is practical. You need to show, you need to tell your work with the help of several examples. So whatever you are doing, try to generate the interest again and again of your audience who are sitting in front of you, so that they do not get lost when you are talking. Do not become too technical. Do not become completely example oriented. It should be a well-balanced combination. If you are presenting your work, you should at least be familiar with the words or the slides that you are giving in your presentation. At least you should be familiar with that, so that if someone from the audience asks you something, you are not completely clueless about it. Technical details should be there, but in a moderate manner, so that you are able to generate interest of your audience, but at the same time, your audience are not bored by it. Yes, and there is one thing that I've observed in several presentations, particularly from people who belong to pure sciences, that their slides are full of equations, or their slides are full of reactions and things like that. But I mean, a layman will not be able to appreciate it. Even a mathematician may not be able to understand everything that is written there. So it's always good to have the skeleton of the problem. That is, what is the problem? What are the main goals and the motivation for it? What is the state of the art? Very short, what is your key contribution? Why do you consider your approach to be good or better than others? And how you are presenting it to your audience. Do not make your slides too colorful. Do not make your slides full of statements. Do not make your slides full of equations and so on. Now, if you have a look at this particular slide, it is containing a complete sentence, which is a complete paragraph, not just a sentence, but a paragraph. So this is not considered to be good. I could have just taken a book and then just printed everything on the slide, but that is not going to make any sense. So this slide is something that is called a bad slide. How you are moving your slides? You should be able to stick on a particular slide for a particular period of time only. Then how you are using the font size, everything, every small thing counts. Even if you are having a very small presentation, you should be able to generate interest of your audience. Some examples of bad fonts: should not be too small. All words should not be capital. Do not use a very complicated font. Do not make your slides very, very, very colorful like this. It is giving a very bad impression. What sort of background you are going to use? Usually a plain and simple background is the best to use. At the most, you can have your institute's logo on the top. Extremely bad background with many sounds which are not even needed. Graphs. This is something, an example of a bad graph. And this is an example of a good graph where everything is self-explanatory. Everything is clear. From the graph itself, you will be able to identify what the problem was. You should always be prepared with your slides. If you are going to have a presentation, you should at least prepare it 2 days in advance so that you can have an opinion of your friends and colleagues if they are willing to do so. And you should also read them again and again so that you are able to deal with your audience. And if animation with sounds is needed, is very much in the need of your presentation, only then keep it. Otherwise, additional sounds become very annoying. While delivering a talk, do not be very monotonous. I mean, don't keep on just looking at the slides and speaking it and then reading another sentence and then speaking it up again and things like that. Don't do that. Be enthusiastic. The more you are enthusiastic, the more your audience will be enthusiastic. Try to make an eye contact with the audience. And if you really see someone is looking at you and is looking interested in your presentation, then you can even start up a conversation with them. That what is your opinion on my presentation? Yeah, this is again, I mean, this thing happens when you are giving your first or second presentation. Sometimes we start pointing at the screen, not we start pointing at the computer and not at the screen. So if you are having a pointer with you, you should always point it towards the screen in which your presentation is going on. And as I already told you, do not read directly. And it's always good if you prepare something in advance. That is, even without looking at the slide, if you are talking to the audience, then the audience will be more engaged. Their two senses will be working together. One, they will be looking at the slide. Second, they will be listening to you and their brain will try to correlate the two. Always finish in time. Try to handle all the questions properly. If it is a very long answer, if you think it cannot be explained at the time of the presentation, you can always ask the audience to contact you again. If they are not asking anything, you can suggest them something helpful by your own, at your own, and you should be able to engage them in some particular research dialogue. Anticipate the questions. You can even prepare a slide of questions at the end so that some of the audience may ask it. Yeah, this is the last line is don't let them hijack the talk. This usually happens when you are giving a talk in front of your seniors, in which they are more dominating, or you are giving a talk to in a seminar in which the others are in which the others may dominate you. So you should yourself be prepared, and you can also put a list of questions there. The only way to get better is to observe others. There are several YouTube lectures now, and there is always a good speaker and more than one good speaker at every institute. You should listen to them. Try to identify the good ideas of presentation and borrow them for your own presentation. And keep on discussing with your friends and your mentors how you can get better and better. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. And thanks for inviting me for this conference. Have a nice day.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for enlightening session. We will be in touch with you.
Okay, thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insights on the do's and don'ts of doing research. I'm sure your address will help a lot of people understanding the conceptual key points on research aspects. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, brother. So I'll take leave now. Thank you so much. Okay, have a nice
Yeah,
day.
ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request Professor Brijesh Iyer sir to introduce us to our second keynote speaker for the day, Professor Valentina Balas from Aurel Valacu University of Arad, Romania, to our esteemed audience.
Thank you, Mrudul. Good morning, all. Now we will be moving towards the second keynote address of this conference. Today we are having with us Professor Valentina Balas, madam. She is currently a full professor in the Department of Automatics and Applied Software at the Faculty of Engineering in University of Arad, Romania. She holds a PhD in Applied Electronics and Telecommunication from Polytechnic University of Timisoara. Dr. Balas is author of more than 350 research papers in refereed journals and international conferences. Her research interests are in intelligent systems, fuzzy control, soft computing, smart sensors, information fusion, and modeling and simulation. She is editor-in-chief of International Journal of Advanced Intelligence Paradigms and to International Journal of Computational Systems Engineering. Member in editorial board member of several national and international journals, and is evaluator expert for national international projects and PhD theses all over the globe. Dr. Balas is the director of Intelligent System Research Center in Arul Venci University of Arad and director of Department of International Relations Programs and Projects in the same university. She served as general chair of the International Workshop of Soft Computing and Applications SOFA in 8 editions from 2005 to 2020, held in Romania and Hungary. Dr. Balas participated in many international conferences as organizer, honorary chair, session chair, and member in steering, advisory, or international program committees. Now she is working in a national project with European Union funding support, BioCell Nano Art, a novel bio-inspired cellular nano architectures for digital integrated circuits, 3M Euro from National Authority of Scientific Research and Innovations. She is a member of IEEE in TC Fuzzy Systems, chair of a TF in 14 TC Emergent Technologies, member in soft computing body of IEEE. Now we will be fortunate that so experienced and active researcher is with us to share her views on different aspects of research and technical innovations. I heartily welcome Professor Balas, madam. One more thing I wish to share with the participant. This is around 7:30 a.m. in Romania, if I am correct. So, Madam graciously means agreed that so early in the morning she will be ready to deliver the talk. I am very much thankful, Madam, that you are gracing our event. I request you to kindly take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Good morning to all of you. Namaste.
Thank you, Madam. Actually, you were there in India also, I suppose.
Yes, I'm visiting very often there, but even last year I was 2 times. So I want to express my appreciation to the organizing committee for inviting me there, and especially to you, Brijesh, here. Thank you a lot for writing so many emails and keeping in touch with me. Also to the other professors, students that are here, I want to extend all my greetings to have a nice conference and a successful one. So I was thinking first to introduce some few information about me and my work. And after that, I will start with my presentation. You don't know the title. I was thinking a lot what to present you, and I arrived at the research done in our team, not that in my project. You will see. But first, let's see some short presentation. Just a moment to see. So I think you have my screen, yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's good. So I will not stay too much. I think I have 45 minutes.
You may extend also. If required, you may extend. No problem.
You will tell me if I have a few time, let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
No, no, no. We won't, madam. You please continue.
Okay, okay. Why I prefer to introduce such presentation like introduction, just to understand my work and to take advantage of my work and my all things around me, such a way that I can help you, because usually I do not like only to have my presentation and to go. No, you may write me, you may think to me, you may ask me some help. I am responding always to anyone. So first of all, I said to explain you where I am coming from, my country, Romania. Where is Romania? In Southeastern Europe. And our capital is Bucharest. My city is very near to the border, west side of Romania. And my city is close to other 6 capitals, more close than to Bucharest. So for me, it's easy to go to Budapest, even to Wien, Zagreb, Belgrade, and also Bratislava. We have highway that can take us to Europe very fast, but not nowadays. Everything it's closed, you know very well. So the map of Romania is here. I am living in this city in Arad, and I am studied in Timișoara, where is a famous polytechnical university, very well known many years ago. Just recently, we had 100 years old of polytechnical university. So this eastern side, it's Moldavia with the Iași capital, South Romania with Bucharest, and here over the mountains is Transylvania, all this side. Transylvania, Dracula country, you know. And my city with Timișoara, and this area near Serbia, it's the richest region of Romania. It's a multicultural population with different kind, let's say Hungarian, German population, Bulgarian, Jewish, and any other, Serbian, and so on. So let's go further. Some image from my city is the city hall. Right side is the building, the old building of our university. Here it's an old fortress, more than 300 years old, in the middle of the city. All around, it's the Mureș River, is the second river in Romania after the Danube. And here it's another view. Here it's also in the center, cultural place. Also, the Catholic Church, Orthodox Church, and City Hall. As I said, this building belonged to our university. And just recently, we received another new building. So this is the website of my university. You can find every kind of information there. The new building, also the new building. And this is the building that we received recently. It's an old one. It was the National Bank there, and they moved in another one. And just now we are renovating. We have 9 faculties, you can see here, with many programs. And we are working after a Bologna system with the credits, you know. So looking to this Bologna system, we have Erasmus project, and I have introduced many universities from India. You can see here the visit of a student from India. It's Vladini Agnivesh from MIT Silchar. She visited with a student from Taiwan. Every year we receive some students here from Europe and from non-European countries. And together I visited with her in these images the monument of a famous sculptor in Romania that was living in Paris. It's about Constantin Brâncuș. And also came in the same time over Erasmus project, a professor from MIT Silchar, one of my close collaborator, Rajib Bey. Last year in March, he came with his wife as Erasmus professors, and in the last day, in 10 March, they had the speech. Next day, everything was closed. We visited together a city near Arad, not so near, 150 kilometers, because everything was closed. Deva is the name, and here is the school where Nadia Comăneci studied. They had a nice picture there. So discussing about my research, I started to study many years ago fuzzy techniques, and I apply in my PhD thesis. You can see here the signature of Professor Lotfi Zadek on my thesis, Intelligent Sensor with Internal Model and Fuzzy Techniques. He was my mentor. And he came 5 times in Romania to my invitation. Here are some books that I published for our students. Mainly there are courses in electronics, and then I have the classes of system theory, discrete event systems, soft computing, intelligent systems, measurements, and I have also virtual instrumentation. Along the years, there were many, many disciplines. And here I start with some books, and the man who helped me a lot and introduced me in editing books, it's Professor Lakshmi Jain, is also one of my mentors, and I am working close to him. Also, he is coming many times in Romania to my conferences or just to visit us. Other books that I edited. Then I had book chapters in other books. Here there are some journals where I published, ICI journals. Here it's Acta Politehnica Hungarica. I am here in editorial board as associate editor, and also in other ICI journals. Other journals, and more recently I am collaborate more with MDPI. I know that in India, many students told me that they will not consider their professors' publication in open access journals, but you must understand that maybe very soon all journals will be open access and you need to pay for them. It's true, there are high costs, but also they have a good visibility, and they are not accepting so easy papers there. So other journals also where I am involved, other journals in different databases that I'm publishing. Here is my supervisor, Professor Mircea Ciugudean from Politehnica Timișoara. I have very good relations with his family too, and they are coming very often to us. Here it's Professor Zadek when he visited our university first time in 2003, and he became Dr. Honoris Causa. Also with Professor Zadek in San Francisco in 2011, when I visited him, he was 90 years old. On the other side is Professor Michio Sugeno, who is also my mentor. He visited many times. He came just to see us and offer me all his work to continue his research in stability of nonlinear systems. Here again with Professor Zade and his wife, with Michio Sugeno in Kyoto. Again with Zadeh in 2016 when he was 95 years old. It was a conference. Here I am with the Indian group. You can see some professors. Professor Deshpande, unfortunately, he died. The same group with other Professor Janusz Kaszprzyk from Springer, Ronald Jager, and different professors from European countries. And I said, I will be with Latvia until the end. When he died, I participate to his funeral in Baku in September 2017. I am editor-in-chief to this journal, International Journal of Advanced Intelligence Paradigms. It's a very well-subscribed journal, and even nowadays there are more than 300 papers waiting to be published, and they need to wait. I do not like this system, maybe even 5 years. Now papers from 2017 are published, 18 and so on. But if someone is in a big need, I am helping. Honorary editors are Lakmi Jain and Witold Pedric. And also here you can see the foreword written by Professor Zade. The second journal where I am editor-in-chief in the science again, it's International Journal of Computational Systems Engineering. And I am a member in editorial board in many more than 50 journals. This one is a good one, also ICI, European Journal of Engineering, Central, then in Springer. And in all these journals, Intelligent Decision Technologies, Good Journal, and the others also. You can see also Acta Politehnica Hungarica, IEEE Access, and many others. And I am organizing a conference, I did not complete here, from 2005 until 2020. Last edition was in November. It's a well-known conference, soft computing and applications. And I like to the first edition that all my invited speakers to give me a signature here. It's again Lotfi Zadek, Lotfi and Sugeno. First editions I organize with IEEE Computational Intelligence Society. Here are others edition 2009, 2020, and from 2012 I switched to Springer. Here I am with my co-editors because the first edition were in Hungary 1 day and Romania 2 days. János Fodor, unfortunately he died. Anna Maria Varkonikot, Joseph Dombi. And I continue with other conferences again in Springer, the series of Professor Janusz Kaszprzyk. There were 2 volumes every edition, 2014, 16, 18, and this year, last year, 1 volume because I had a special issue in Journal of Intelligent and Fuzzy Systems. In the edition 2016, few participants are here in front of the hotel. There are people from Italy, again from Japan, from India, from United States, from Germany, from Timișoara, from different countries, United States and so on. Here are professors from India with his student as best student paper, Professor Sudarsan and Juhi, and another student from Bucharest. Here it's the edition of 2018, again with Professor Sugeno, Professor Shahnaz from Azerbaijan, from Professor Pan from China, from United States, from India. The best student paper was also from India. My best student in my Gyan course, Ravi Gandhi from Ahmedabad, from Germany, Oscar Castillo, Patricia Melin from Mexico, again from Japan, and others, only few. And here is the last edition, exclusive online in November 2020. We had participants from 37 countries. Here you can see also an image of the city with the city hall, a view. And from last 2 years, 2009, 2020, there were more than 50 books that I edited or co-authored in Springer or in Elsevier. I'm responsible of a book series in Elsevier. It's about biomedical engineering. You can see some books from Elsevier. And very recently, I will have another book series in complex systems together with Professor Dumitru Băleanu from Turkey. Other books, I did not put all books. And this is an event that was last week in Agartala. It's about Professor Bomic. He is professor and also the chief of association Fazi and Rafsat in Agartala. And they invited me there, but here in Agartala in 2019, when I visited there for another conference. This is Professor Bomic. And this is again the building of my university. So this first presentation is finished. And then we will start with the next one. I will share the screen. Just a moment. It's too slow, my computer. Let's hope it's finished. Okay. Now the second one. Now it's visible, yes? Can you see the presentation?
Yes, madam, it is visible, quite visible. Yeah.
Oh, it's again, no. It's a mistake, this one. This is visible or no? I think no, I need to open again. Now I hope it's visible, yes?
Yes, madam, it is visible. Please continue.
So I will show you some interesting research done in our research team. I did not introduce it. It's about Research Center Intelligent Systems. We have a small group. In my group, it's also my husband, who is also professor in my department, and young researchers that are our PhD students. So it's about what research that started related to passive greenhouses, and then we continue to see other applications that are nowadays in top research. It's related to rooftop greenhouses. It's a new concept that nowadays is very well. So the content of the presentation, it's here. I will not insist too much. You will see along the presentation our discussions about greenhouses. So you know all that all our technologies, our days made our lives easier and longer, but they created many difficult problems. It's about pollution, global warming of the atmosphere, alimentation, disease, and different others. So the technology must now solve all these problems. What is a greenhouse? Because I will start to discuss about this. So it's a building where plants are cultivated under controlled conditions, and also they offer a high productivity and efficiency and remove much of risks. Someone asked me how they need to use such greenhouses in India. So if you have a cover surface, you can protect much more your plant and during your rainy season, and also to offer to the plants the right substances, chemicals, and so on to have much more productivity. The same greenhouse surface can feed 5 to 10 times more people than the conventional land. But there are important obstacles that are related to energy costs. So we have investment cost, infrastructure costs, and direct costs. For the classical greenhouses. In our area, you know that we have winter that have very low temperatures, and for this reason we need such greenhouses to produce flowers, to produce vegetables, and so on. So still renewable energy investments are high, even we are using them, and hardly controllable. Either not reliable because of wind and sun, they are not continuously, or they are too constant, unable to cope with fast perturbation. It's about geothermal. Some synergic approach can make renewable energy profitable if we are using in situ solar, wind, and geothermal energies to integrate management of energy, water and gases, and also in the last part of my presentation, you will see exactly this concept, human-plant symbiosis. Smart control, maybe you are also presenting in this conference such papers related to Internet of Things for intelligent houses, smart houses, and so on. The same concept can be done even for such greenhouses. It was nice that we had the permission to access this greenhouse in Toulon University in South France, where we visited, and my husband also spent 2 times with the team there. And they have an artificial soil, and they have all devices here just to control them and to have a precise temperature inside the greenhouse. There are different sites also for meteorological parameters to measure everything outside, and they offer us the possibility to access over internet and to control over internet. We started with them early in 2005, 2006, and professors from there visited us, and we had some research papers to. So we initiate such greenhouses and research, and you can understand very well all these kind of energy, sun energy, solar panels, wind energy, DC accumulator. What more precise energy can be obtained from heat pump, you know, to circulate water from one side to the other side, and even few degrees are between these two water wheel sides. It's enough to heat or to cool inside. So even we can create such kind of aquifer inside the earth and to use this energy. So basically in house with the artificial aquifer. We have also introduced here the model of the greenhouse It's about a mathematical model organized in MATLAB Simulink. So because passive greenhouses are independent of conventional infrastructure, they can be installed virtually anywhere. This is the idea that we are using renewable energies, and the main disadvantage is again high investment costs. But these solutions can be reduced using, as I told you earlier, such mathematical and computer modeling and some intelligent control, as we put here smart fuzzy logic, using perception and complexity, coping with all of them. So introducing the greenhouse everywhere, it's a very good advantage. You will see very soon, putting everywhere from the top of the mountains until the desert. Here is a computer model that we created. We were inspired by other computer models where you can see a lot of parameters. And also putting the wind influence, it's another equation here. We put in our research these equations, and we tried to tune them to be very near to the real data. And you can see in this figure that we have the wind influence introduced here. So you can see over an interval of time how is the evolution of the external temperature. You can see here about 6 degrees, 7 until 5 degrees, and also the wind influence, how strong is the wind. And here it's the heating, how heating is starting and then stop, because it's not necessary to go to use it all the time. And also in our research, we show that if plants are inside, different kind of plants, they do not need all the time the same temperature. So during the night, it's enough low temperature, about 13, 12, 13, 14 degrees, not more down. And during the day, the temperature is more high. But in the night, it's not necessary to increase the temperature to more degrees. It's enough, as I said, 13, 14. Here, it's the Toulon greenhouse identification. They gave us the recording data in an interval of 2004. And over an interval of time, you can see the greenhouse, how is the evolution of the temperature inside. You can see from 18 to 21 with these oscillations. And our computer model, it's the blue line, and you can see that it's quite close to the reality. So our model is working very well. So in such situation, we can use the computer model to compare the output from the computer model with the output of what we obtain from the plant, from our greenhouse, and to adapt the control. It's a matter of automatics. So which are the problems? The prediction of dangerous situations can be done, and also there are some data for different simulation, and also from internet we can obtain weather forecast, and we can use for control decision. We know very well from the forecast that will come a different kind of weather, and to be advertised and use all this data. So we can also do automatic diagnosis. automatic diagnosis when something is happened there, if some walls are damaged, and to obtain some step in the response of the greenhouse, such a way that to react very fast from the humans that are very. Here are also some sizing and optimization of the energy sources, how much we need to use as power for heating system, and because of some extreme temperature that it happens very rare, we can choose a lower heating system as power, not 47. You can see here where how we calculate it's enough 2025. So it will be very well. Here are, as I told you, the possibility to use greenhouses on the top of the mountains. It's a region in San Remo in Italy, over the mountains, and they put a lot of greenhouses where they produce mainly flowers from their festivals, but also vegetables for them. You can see another image in Google Map, San Remo on Mediterranean, and on the top of the mountains you can see again a lot of greenhouses that are first solar greenhouses, but the possibility to produce vegetables and flowers very near to their place. So thinking about ecological reconstruction, global warming, you know, all of you, that this global warming, it's a very important problem nowadays, and affect very much human technologies. So growing CO2 and decreasing oxygen concentrations in the atmosphere is a very, very bad situation. Even nowadays, we saw that the atmosphere is more clear after lockdown and our isolation. So CO2 is enhancing the glasshouse effect of the atmosphere. Also, it's very well known that some data recording in Mauna Loa shows 90.4% increase in the mean of CO2 annual concentration. You can see how it's increasing from 1959 to 2004. So why it's happening this? Because of the burning of the fossils fuel and deforestation. And we need to take care about this. And for this reason, we are moving, you know, to the electric car and so on. So what we can have usually this trophic level for food chain, three trophic level, plants, animals, humans, or a two trophic level food chain, plants and animal for vegetarians. So transfer for one trophic level to another one, like here introducing animals, means a lot of energy, because means energy to feed also this every component of the channel. So the surface demanded by food chain in this B case can be further reduced if we are using passive greenhouses, because can be installed everywhere, and also replacing cereals by greenhouse vegetables. We have three large surfaces, and we can in such a way turn into natural environments, many forests, pastures, orchard, and ponds. The reconstructed surfaces can be populated with domestical animals that are now fed with cereals. At the same surface, greenhouse can feed, as I said, 5 to 10 times more people than cereal cultivated land. So passive greenhouse, they are equivalent to forest in terms of CO2 balance. There are different kind of greenhouses. Here it's a model that was introduced in Spain, in Almeria. So we need to do the management of the water. It's about this term water-G. Nowadays, water-G means water and plus energy. The term that is used is water-G. This kind of greenhouse, as I told you, introduced first time in Almeria, in Spain, is using exactly water-G, this concept introduced by this company, and it's recirculated the water inside, so it is a closed concept. Now is open, so the water remain inside. It's here a tower with double tower walled that is circulating the water, and the vapors are introduced, are coming back in water. So water is coming again inside. The idea is that we can use this kind of greenhouse even in the desert. Just in the beginning, it's important to introduce water and everything inside. After that, all is nice. So this tower is replaced thanks to the liquid desiccant air conditioners. So if it's also near a seaside, can be used the water from the sea, but desalination and so on. You can see also water tanks. Water in excess can be introduced in these tanks. You will see the concept very soon. Here it's again the concept related to what we introduce inside greenhouse. It's about a gas engine and cogeneration. It's another company that is doing everything. So nowadays, greenhouses are like a real plant. Different greenhouses are introduced here. So there are many kinds of greenhouses. It's a Venlo greenhouse, but it's a normal one. This is a vertical greenhouse that nowadays it's very hot concept. And even I saw in Europe now this year they are waiting for a project like this one. So you need not a big surface to have your vegetables here. And they are studying to put this inside the cities. Here it's a photovoltaic greenhouse. You know, also this concept, this is a Fresnel greenhouse with the lens on the upper side. Here it's a LED greenhouse, so different vegetables, plants, they need to grow different kind of color. So they can offer using LED color, light color during the day or even during the night. And here is the concept of the greenhouse Photovoltaic, and it's also like a real factory here. You can see the buildings and many tanks with water, and here the aquifer, as I told you, we can create to take water, fresh water, and this blue line, red line, it's warm water and to circulate. And different other component. We were working to a project. It was a very nice one, and we worked a lot. It was about this project glasses that we introduced to do a Sahara vegetable garden. It was created for Morocco. And the main university, it was a German one. They work very much with other university, with our university. You can see here even some tanks with fish inside. So you can have fish near the greenhouse, and the water from the fish can be circulated in introduced for plants. And you can see here the consortium, the Technical University in Berlin, Leuven University, our university, Swiss University, Morocco, Egypt, and so on. And the same concept, what is happening, cooling mode during the day, desalination mode during the night time, and unfortunately it was not successful, but we will introduce again this project, but we work a lot. And you must know that to be successful in a European project, right, how it was Horizon 2020, now will be other kind of projects, you must work very seriously 1 year. And just nowadays, yesterday and the day before yesterday, I tried to evaluate some Eureka projects. There are colleagues in Romania. So there are projects at least 1.5 million euros, and it's a huge work. And they are working with the European company. Now we will start to speak about urban agriculture. So you know that traditionally people were living in villages and towns, while agriculture was practiced only on the surrounding lands, usually near the villages. The only cases when agriculture was to be found inside cities were caused by food crisis, consequence of natural or political catastrophe. So global heating, it's also developing crisis. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change on Paris, that was in December 2015, are there. Many countries discuss a lot of problems, what to do, and to avoid global heating. So it's about a new term that it was introduced related to urban agriculture. So it's about different modalities to cultivate plants into cities. So we will study and we will follow what was done for this topic, building integrated agriculture inside cities. So working on modalities to cultivate plants into or onto buildings. Onto buildings is this new concept, rooftop greenhouse, that we will discuss here. So here it's about the first such kind of buildings with rooftop greenhouses. It's about Arbor House by Nexus company in New York. After 2010, 2012, they created such rooftop greenhouses. So it's about the conventional plant cultivation in 2D fields, that it's a 2D field. You know that forests are 3D field, but doing such buildings, rooftop greenhouses will be a 3D field. So rooftop greenhouses potential and features are heating, cooling by renewable energy. We will use for sure solar and wind energy, but it's also about a multifunctional water system. We can collect rainwater, collecting and treating buildings wastewater, storing energy. We can do this and we will have a big economy for energy. Such a system is very complicated, it's non-linear and very slow, and it has to be intelligent. So to control such a system inside, and you saw to make it multifunctional, to collect rainwater and to use inside wastewater and temperature and gases, you will see soon, means a very complicated system that for sure is a linear one. We are using, if you are using a normal control, we are looking to obtain a good efficiency, but maybe sometimes it is not like this. Integrated rooftop greenhouses, we are looking to use, as I told you earlier, the CO2 from inside the building, inside the greenhouses, and oxygen from the rooftop greenhouse inside the building for people inside. So it can be a closed system such a way. So oxygen from the roof, introducing in the building, and CO2 from the building to the roof. That is very good for plants there. So will be a building metabolism. Indoor humans and plants symbiosis. We are working on this concept, and the first such prototype featured by Mediterranean climate is working from 2014 in Barcelona as a result of another project, Fertile City. This is that building in Barcelona. So building meets this FAO condition for vegetables cultivation in Mediterranean areas. So the temperature are more nice there than in continental Europe. And they do not need too much heating there. And everything you can see, the walls are glass, and on the top there are plants, they are cultivating plants, and they have enough light and so on. Here there are also, you can discover on internet everything like this, rooftop greenhouse laboratory. So they are doing a lot of research and try to extend. So the integrated management of energy, water, and gases may be achieved by active control of the energy, water, and air flows. Also, we need to collect the renewable energy that is available in the urban areas. We have also geothermal, it's very easy, sun and wind energy. And we can connect to the concept of smart city, and we will obtain intelligent rooftop greenhouse. You know the concept of such a generic intelligent building, and we can introduce in if we have a rooftop greenhouse, different possibilities inside. So for liquid, we have such coupled tanks, and what can be done for cold weather and what can be done for hot weather. For cold weather, to introduce some degrees inside the greenhouse, for hot weather to cool it. We have here in our laboratory a project made by our students a few years ago. They organized such a model for greenhouse, and you can see using heat pumps, and here a greenhouse, here collecting the temperature and the wind direction and force outside. So the whole system is here. They participated in the conference, in a competition for students, and they were on the 5th place among 260 teams. On the first place was an Indian team. They were in Paris. Unfortunately, the Indian team presented over Skype. We were there. So as I told you, smart home, you know, maybe in this conference we have such a presentation in your papers related to smart home, how to control and how to do everything automate using Internet of Things and so on. Nowadays, it's a very well-known concept, but the same concept can be used for rooftop greenhouse and the whole business that we are using. So in this intelligent rooftop greenhouse, we are working again with a structural model to introduce it as a computer model. We need to be a very precise one, such a way to use to compare the data in the model with the real one and to have a good control. Again, we have a lot of parameters. I will not insist of them. And the model, again here, there are 6 equations with all parameters that we are introduced in the model of the rooftop greenhouse. In MATLAB Simulink, as implementation, you can see all these parameters at the big block, and under this big block, we have other blocks that are here, temperature modules for gas concentration modules. And I will tell you also how this idea starts. When you start to work on a certain topic, then ideas are coming. First, my husband has for his PhD thesis how to control the temperature inside the railway coaches. In our city, in Arad, we have the biggest railway coaches factory, the biggest in Southeastern Europe. And we also worked there 9 years. My husband, Marius, in pure research, and I was working in research and design. And our railway coaches are circulating everywhere in the world. I remember some teams were in Sri Lanka for railway coaches that we produce for them, others in Germany, United States, in Brazil, everywhere. Nowadays, it's still working, this factory. They produce their own railway coaches for passenger cars, and they are very nice, circulating here in Romania, very comfortable, and also for other countries that are producing. So working there and trying to solve this problem to control the temperature inside. So inside the atmosphere must be nice. The temperature is important, humidity, and also some gases, some smell. For this reason, you can see here temperature, humidity, and gas concentration modules. We are interested to detect different gases and introduce fresh air or recirculate and so on. From this idea, we develop the next step, a passive greenhouse, and then an intelligent greenhouse using these energies that we have around, and to combine them during the day, during the night. You can find also our papers in ResearchGate or in Google Scholar. They are very easy to access. And we also were inspired by such a system that is using by Mercedes company for cars. they were the first that were using fuzzy control. And also I can tell you that using fuzzy control, we can create a more suitable system that is not consume much energy. So it's lower as consuming energy. In Japan, they created a building some good years ago, and they introduced a conventional control system for temperature inside, and another one using fuzzy control. There they have this father of fuzzy logic in Japan, that is Professor Sugeno controllers for those who are working. And they observed that inside the building, the people did not recognize when they switch from a system to the other one. But using fuzzy control, they obtain at least 25% economy for energy consumption. So here we are discussing about optimal control versus soft computing. Here it's a greenhouse in Netherlands. They are on the top of the research because they are producing flowers for whole Europe. We are importing from them, and they have very nice such greenhouses, but they are using optimal control that need precise and detailed knowledge on the control plants. But using soft computing methods, this is able to deal with highly nonlinear, time-varying, and very slow actuated plants. For this reason, of course, the best choice is fuzzy rule-based and fuzzy expert. So we have two choices, optimal control or soft computing. Of course, we choose these computing methods. And these soft computing methodologies relies on quantitative analysis. Optimal control is rely on quantitative analysis. We need always to have quantity and also numerical representation of knowledge. And is successfully applied when one disposes on all detailed knowledge about the control plant. Soft computing is relying on qualitative analysis and symbolic knowledge representation. So the expert control emulates human operators. And for this kind of systems, for cooling, heating, that are non-linear and time variable, is considered this control is an ideal since the early 80s years, because humans and plants are tolerant to weather parameters variation, temperature, humidity, air composition, as I told you earlier. We do not need the precise temperature and to maintain exactly at that level. So accuracy and precision are not important. Soft computing features such as stability, adaptation, robustness, and prediction are most necessary. We have here computer model in MATLAB Simulink, again related to our controller, related to different component there, and some simulation. How is working a PID controller, how is working for temperature control, a fuzzy interpolative controller. So you can see the temperature 24, exactly 24 degrees. And here it's for top greenhouse. This is in the building. So in the building, we want completely 24 degrees for a precise control. And on the top of the greenhouses, you can see the temperature in a good day, let's say. Temperature is going because of the solar effect from 21 to 20, more than 25, and is maintaining there. But using fuzzy interpolative, you can see the temperature in the building. We call clădire in Romanian, so that letters are known by meat. Here is greenhouse, here is the building. So greenhouse is green. The temperature in the building is going to be a little bit varying, but maybe along 1-2 degrees. It's not so much, and the humans even do not detect this. Why? Because this is temperature outside. Let's see. In blue line, so the temperature outside is from 10 degrees going to maybe 18 degrees. But inside the building and on the top, on the roof, are this temperature maintained. This is using fuzzy interpolative. So what I want to show you, this is for heating, how is working heating. So for the building is not necessary to have a very, very precise temperature that is maintained. And we will have this big economy in energy consumption. So we are using even the energy collected on the rooftop greenhouse, because we are introducing that air inside. Here is how is varying the concentration of CO2 for the greenhouse and for the building, inside the building. So, of course, inside the building, the concentration is bigger than inside the rooftop greenhouse. And how is working everything inside? Using such fuzzy expert system, using rules. Some examples are here. So if temperature outside is cold and temperature in building is cool, then temperature in this entrance in building is 1. Fresh air admission is closed, preserving energy into the building, which is ventilated through a rooftop greenhouse. I told you that we are using this concept of human-plant symbiosis to recirculate the air from the inside the building to the rooftop, and from the rooftop inside to give oxygen and to take CO2 and other rules. So it's about a fuzzy explanation. Such a town composed exclusively of intelligent rooftop greenhouse, because we introduce intelligence by using such an expert system, is a green skyline city which consumes CO2 and creates oxygen. Inserting intelligent rooftop greenhouses into existing urban infrastructure is possible depending on the building's conditions. It's about an investment investing some money there, but after that we will have also green area inside the cities, and can be controlled very easy using Internet of Things technologies, and to obtain a precise and good temperature inside, and also to produce vegetables upper side and oxygen. Why not? By adopting such concept, existing smart cities may be gradually tuned into smart green skyline cities. Dedicated projects are expected to increase the global CO2 offset and the inhabitants' quality of life. You can see even in India you have very high population areas. I saw in Delhi, and I saw that smoke in the morning. Creating such kind of buildings, we will have a good quality of life there for their inhabitants. Large scale, some conclusion, large scale intelligent rooftop greenhouses reduce CO2 footprint and increase offset. So renewable, they can be introduced near the pollution sources. Renewable energy and rainwater are directly used without grid conversion or large sewage treatment facilities. We can collect that rainwater and use it. It creates green-friendly urban areas and a new lifestyle. The need of city population to travel far away to natural green areas reduced. Produce fresh vegetables, flowers, create new jobs and markets. All require components are already available. So this is just a new vision that combines existing elements. Intelligent rooftop greenhouses synergies are human-plant symbiosis, local exploitation of renewable energies, air conditioning, new urbanist vision, perfect compatibility with the smart city. So all are oriented to what they are discussed in the Nation Unit Conference, Global Warming in Paris. And nowadays they are still discussing on this and try to do something. Now it's true that we cannot create such rooftop greenhouses on any kind of buildings because there are some historical buildings in that area, but in area where population is living, we can have this kind of greenhouses. And as I told you, this concept, it's very much developing nowadays, as I saw in topic of the project for European Union just this year, because every year they have another topic for projects. So we need to switch our topics. This year it's about the sustainable buildings. So I saw many articles in different journals just to have population with a lot of knowledges related to, as I told you, vertical greenhouses inside the cities. So thank you very much for your attention, and if there are questions, I'm waiting. If no, you can write me. You saw my email address there, and I will respond you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving us your valuable time and acknowledging us with the intelligent techniques in passive greenhouse. We have known the greenhouse work since school days, but your thorough and detailed work has surely enlightened us. Thanks a lot. Also, Romania is known for its forested region and is the largest Balkan country. Thank you very much for giving us such a wonderful tour to your university as well. I hope you will visit our university in your next tour to India. Thank you.
Hello, I have one question.
Please, please. You please introduce yourself first.
Hello, madam. Myself, Professor Balaji Shetty from SGGS College, Nanded, Maharashtra, India.
Yes.
And we are really impressed by your dedicated research and your lots of books, your publications, journals. And not only your research is theoretical, but it is giving benefits to the society. So one simple question was that if we want to initiate such a research in our institutes, so can we help? How can you help us? Because if we are interested to work in greenhouse area, and how can we initiate this thing in our campus? Because we are also working on artificial neural network, fuzzy logic, and we are working purely on ANN. We have good experts in our college also. I myself are also working on ANN. So this is a simple query.
Yes, I tried in all my visit in India. I was more than 20 times everywhere in India. And I know all region, and I'm very much impressed first about the quality of education there. I have a lot of people, I have what to discuss with them. I'm collaborating with them in papers, and I was looking always to have a project, scientific project, and it is very difficult. And for me, I try along the years from 2012 when I started to visit there. My first visit was in IIT Banaras Hindu, then other regions in South, in Kerala, and so on. Even to come in Romania, it was a big problem for Indians, and I fight a lot in our embassy there. It was very hard to obtain visa. Also, my friends from India ask me always to find partners, because there are a lot of projects. India, Hungary, India, Portugal, India, Spain, India, Austria. I have friends everywhere in Europe, and I facilitate a lot of projects. Even nowadays, it was, I remember Sumya Banerjee from Birla Institute of Technology. He is in France now. He's a very successful researcher. I help him to go in France. Another project is with Canada. And why not with Romania? And I initiated, believe me, I discussed with all factors. And very recently, it's an association that is organizing for IT side in Romania. They are organizing visit everywhere, and they are very interested to have this relation with India. But as I told you, I discussed with a lot of factors in Romania, trying to write to the government. So why not to have project? Because we put money and we have with European countries, but small countries like Hungary, they have a lot of possibilities to do research with India. What can I tell you that in the next period can arrive such projects, and we will try to have collaborations. Otherwise, if your university can have a small amount of money or some economical environment, it's interested just to put some money, or local government can have money to have such an experimental greenhouse. We also propose to have on the top of our university, on the new building. And as I have nowadays 2 students working in this field, they are working on aquaponic. One is working aquaponic. So they want to produce also fish near the greenhouse. You saw the water from the fish is put inside the greenhouse. So it's a very complex system. We will try to attract such money, and we have, as you saw, we are on the west side of Romania. Quite all foreign companies, multinationals are in our area along the borders with Hungary, because it's very easy to arrive in Western Europe. They stop here, and they started us to help us. And they offer even money directly, and we can buy some equipment. So related to you, first can be done some memorandum of understanding between our universities. We have, maybe with every university that I visited, I propose to them. And because of this problem of COVID, we stopped this year. Last year, we had only professor as exchange, but we can have such exchanges. And even coming in a conference that I'm organizing, I'm helping a lot just to arrive here. Here we offer all facilities to stay and to visit. Just recently, I heard that Romania will be soon in Schengen. Now we are not in Schengen, Romania and Bulgaria, and for this reason it's hard to obtain only Romanian visa. But many Indians came with a visa in UK, in Italy, and then it's very easy to come in Romania with Schengen visa. You can stay 90 days. Let's hope will be more easy in the future. But I can tell you that we are very similar as soul, as construction, and I'm feeling Indians very close to me, and all my colleagues too. And the collaboration is very successful. And I help many people, and I continue to help. And I wanted to see Indian students here in Romania, in my university, and I hope in the future to develop projects. I want to tell you another thing. So our research, it's very large. Why? Because we are using our controllers. You can discover in ResearchGate quasi-interpolative controllers that are very useful for highly nonlinear systems. I did not introduce you that topic. It's also a topic that I am presenting sometimes. This kind of system can be very nice control. This was my topic for my Gyan course in 2016 in NIT Silchar, and the students there, I convinced them because they were from different areas, some on power systems, some on artificial pancreas, other in different other applications. But I gave our controller that can be tuned a little bit related to their applications, and the response was much better than the conventional one in automatics, classical automatics. And another project that we started, and I involved also India, it was not successful, but only a short portion with Taiwan, from Taichung, Feng Chia University from Taichung. I have a good friend there, Professor Lin, and I involved two teams from India, one from North India, it's from NIT Silchar, Rajiv, and one from South India, from Kalasalingam University, where we visited, and they visited 2-3 times, their vice chancellor. And Lin was in South India, and I wanted to put together them. And also in Hungary, it's a very strong team working in artificial pancreas. What is important here? There are some systems, but very expensive, about $10,000. And Lin was looking to introduce a new, such a kind of controller, of control, and all the system to decrease the price and to produce it in Romania. And the project that he proposed, it was $5 million in Taiwan. Nowadays, he is introducing again, and with Indian side in Taiwan. But as I told you, there are many applications. We are looking also for maintaining the distance between different vehicles, not with the conventional sensors, but also using such controllers. So highly nonlinear systems, and with time delay systems, and that time can be very nice control. Even here, I did not insist on that side. It's again related, the application with fuzzy interpolative controllers. Very easy to develop. And I will tell you one more thing. About 2006, 2008, we wanted to propose to Japanese to produce a circuit, a specific circuit, and they were not interested. But after that, we discovered FPGA, and very easy to implement it. FPGA, this interpolative controller, and very nice. And related to my project that we are working, it was mentioned here, you know that we are looking for a new device of the future. It's impossible to to continue in semiconductors. That is, we attained Moore law, and our solution is related to ion pumps, because we try to copy the neuron inside the brain. So the brain is consuming only about 20, 25 watts, and so many things are there to speak, to recognize a figure, to recognize language, and so on. And a computer just think how much, or a data center, how much is consuming. And we propose, that are also nowadays the quantum computing developing very fast, and we are looking for low power consumption and high reliability for circuits inside, and copying the neuron and the network of neuron inside. It's a very nice topic. So our project, 3 million euros, is still working until August this year, and it's finished. We made only simulation. We are a good team, and a big team, even people from UK, people from Portugal. And if projects are with us, we will be able to propose on Euraxis, that website, Euraxis. You can find a lot of job in Europe along European projects. And the salaries are very high. You must know, as a postdoc, you can arrive until 3,500 euros per month. You must publish, you must be good, and you must apply. But my intention is to stay in my country and to work over internet like now here, and you can do very good things and very nice research project, and be together and put our knowledge together. So that is, thank you very much. I hope to visit you in the future. I always responded to invitation, even it's a small university, a big university. I like just to help people, and when I can see this enthusiasm for young generation, for professors, I'm very happy, and try to collaborate. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break for sumptuous lunch. Let's all assemble back sharp at 1:30 p.m. for research presentations. As you have already received the mails regarding the session timetables, please join the respective break rooms as you have given. Chetan sir, can you please explain break room to everyone before we leave?
हम सबको ब्रेक रूम अभी यहाँ पे जो क्रिएट होंगे वो सब ऑटोमेटिकली क्रिएट होंगे, जैसे कि फर्स्ट ब्रेक रूम में 15 मतलब हर ब्रेक रूम में 16 पार्टिसिपेंट्स होंगे। देन आपका जो भी टॉपिक है, यहाँ पे टॉपिक वाइज ब्रेक रूम बनाए हुए, सिंगल इमेज प्रोसेसिंग, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स, एम्बेडेड सिस्टम, थर्ड वन इज एंटीना, एंड फोर्थ वन डीप लर्निंग एंड न्यूरल नेटवर्क। ऐसे 4 ग्रुप यहाँ पे है, जिसका जो भी टॉपिक है वो उस रूम को ज्वाइन करेगा। आपके सामने एक बटन आएगा ज्वाइन ग्रुप, ज्वाइन रूम, तो आपको रूम ज्वाइन करना है, उसमें आना। अगर आपका वो रूम नहीं है तो आप दूसरे रूम में मूव कर सकते हैं। मूव का भी ऑप्शन वहाँ पे आपको आएगा कि आप दूसरे ये रूम से दूसरे रूम में भी आप जा सकते हैं। ओके, तो इस तरह से जैसे आप कनेक्ट हो गए उसके बाद आपको ये प्रोसेस से आना है।
Thank you, Chetan. Thanks a lot, madam, that you joined this event and graced the event, and you put forward your voluminous and very important research with us. We will be very thankful to you, and we will definitely look the opportunity to have a collaboration in future. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Dear participants, we will break for a lunch now, and I request you to join back, say at 1:25 p.m. sharp. And the break rooms will be created, and as Mr. Chetan has given the instructions, kindly join the break rooms, and if any difficulty is there, we'll be there to help you out. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. Mrudul, hello.
Yes, sir.
You are there, na?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let us wait till Chetan create the break rooms.
Sure, sure.
And
मेसेज
Okay.
आला था
हाँ झाले का antenna. I have seen antenna. See all the participants exactly beside of record button in front of your screen. There is option for break room. If you click it, you will find different options. And with these options, you are supposed to join your respective room as per your edict.
येस झालेत आता बऱ्यापैकी लोक कनेक्ट झालेले आहेत.
ओके. मला फक्त अँटिनाचा ब्रेक रूम दिसतोय चेतन.
तुम्ही आता त्या रूम मध्ये गेला असाल.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. मग त्याच्यामध्ये लिव्ह रूम करू का मी?
हा. येस आता तुम्ही बाहेर आले सर. अनम्यूट करा सर.
एकच मिनिट. हा
आता तुम्ही मेन मीटिंग मध्ये आले.
हा मेन मीटिंग मध्ये आता मी.
आता तुम्हाला समजा ज्या ह्याच्यात जायचं आहे फक्त तिथे टिक करायचं आणि जॉईन म्हणायचं बस. त्या ह्याच्यावर आता तुम्हाला इथे सर्व दिसत असतील.
नाही मला फक्त अँटिना दिसतंय परत. यू आर असाइन्ड टू
सर आमच्या ते दिसत नाहीये ते ब्रेक रूम.
एक पण नाही.
नाही.
थोडंसं एक मिनिट बघा चेतन.
एकच मिनिट. हो.
Sir, this is Arrange Best, paper ID 59.
Yeah.
Apparently, I had been added to the wrong breakout room, sir. I had been added to
You just leave that room and be in the main room, and then you select the appropriate room which you wish to join.
All right, sir. When will those options be available, sir?
Yeah, within a minute. Please wait there. You just leave that room and enter into main room.
Yeah, I did that, sir.
Okay, please wait there.
All right.
लीव रूम मध्ये नाही तिथं असं हे व्ह्यू मध्ये बघा.
मी मॅन्युअली करतो एकेकाला ज्याचे
काय हरकत नाही काहीच हरकत नाही. ते तुमच्याकडे यादी आहे ना, लिस्ट आहे ना, त्याच्याप्रमाणे करून टाका.
त्या ग्रुपमध्ये सर्वांना
हो 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 हो.
10 मिनिटं लागतील. 10 ते 15 मिनिटं.
हो हो हो. आपण नाहीतरी 1.5 वाजता चालू करणार आहोत.
हो हो. येस.
ओके. चलो we'll break for a lunch and we'll meet at 1:25 sharp. Meanwhile, the system administrator will assign you in the appropriate rooms. And if any problem is there, we will be there to assist you. And system administrator Mr. Chetan is also there online. You may have a communicate with him.
Dr. Bridges, can
you
hear me?
Yeah, Prajapati sir. Welcome sir, welcome.
Okay,
welcome.
Now I am available.
Yeah sir, yeah. Sir, हम 1:30 बजे 1:15 बजे स्टार्ट करते हैं. अभी सेशन खत्म हुआ है.
No problem, no problem.
हाँ, और आपको हाँ,
no problem.
आपको वो असाइन कर लेंगे रूम में. तो आपका सेशन स्टार्ट हो जाएगा सर.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
आप सबसे ये रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप आपका रीनेम कीजिए. अगर आपका कोई मोबाइल नंबर है, लैपटॉप का नाम है, तो आप प्लीज आपका नाम से रीनेम कर दीजिए.
हाँ बरोबर.
तो मुझे आपका लिस्ट जैसे पता चलेगा.
This ABC, I don't know. ABC. Amit, please. Who is Amit? Please give your full name. I request to give the first name and last name, so it will be easy for administrator to recognize you.
Hello.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to get to system 4.
No, wait. We'll assign you. Wait, in appropriate room. You be there only.
Okay, thanks.
Who is this MMS? I don't know who is MMS. MMS, please rename.
Sir, session will start at 1:30, right? So can we leave and join at 1:30?
Yeah, absolutely no problem. Or otherwise, you join the room if he's assigning you, and then you leave. Let the connection should be there, and then you may leave and come back.
Okay, thank you.
You may do as per your wish, no problem. If any problem is there, we are there. Don't worry. Who is this Wix EXTC? WIX? Please rename. Priya, please add your last name. Who is Priya there?
Hello, Chetan sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I am not getting any breakout room option over here.
One second, sir. Wait. एक second, okay.